so they only see me once a week. And they have to ring them and tell them if I want to be seen any other day. And I didn't want them to come because they used to come in and sit and gas. And I was writing my Christmas cards when they came in one day, and they delayed me for about a quarter of an hour yesterday. And I wanted to get them done. Oh, you gorgeous little thing. Perfect face. You perfect face. You have. You gorgeous little thing. You Grandma's little girl, aren't you? You Grandma's little love. Yes, you are. But you must sleep awake, or your daddy go mad with you. You say, will you stop holding her so that she sleeps?
Oh, that's a big job. No sitting down, fellas. What a lovely reaction there. Yeah, so you're right there.
Did you know your daddy said, no, you're not asleep?
Can you tap your head at the same time?
She said, I'm not taking any notice of my dad. Oh, God.
And where this unhappy couple should stay together for the same
Lovely.
the discussion you were having earlier. So a few people so far saying that it's best to stay together. Charlotte promised that if you choose to bring Charlotte to the world, you should provide family and community, at least try and...
Come on. Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey, little one. Come on. She said, I woke for you, Grandma, and I fed.
Surely that's enough for you.
Eh?
She says, I woke for you and I fed. Surely that's enough. Can't I sleep now?
Oh. I'd like her to stay awake here so that she'll sleep for you tonight.
Well, if she sleeps like she did last night, I
Oh no,
won't
she
complain.
can't complain, can you
No.
know? I think if she's well fed and dry, I think they do well to you. I used to have Bernard. How Bernard was funny. I'd taken his nappy off, and I'd sat him on his potty. This was in the night. We were just getting into bed, and I said to Bernard, "You can lie down there a minute and get." I said, "Get into bed." I put him on his potty. Put him on his potty, and he did nothing. So he said, "Well, hand him to me to say good night." He held him up in the air, and I had put his nappy back on him. Weed all over his father's face.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, that was so funny. I stood there laughing. I couldn't do anything.
What did Grandad make of it?
No, I just laughed. He said it bursted in the ear. "Oh, you mucky little so-and-so." But I got a big towel, and he got himself dry. And he got little and dry, and I put him a dry nappy on. Terry toweling we used then. It was surprising, the terry toweling, you know. It absorbed so much wet.
Oh, I know.
It was marvellous.
We used those for George.
Did you?
Yes. But I'm having trouble keeping up with the washing, even though we're not doing the terry nappies.
Yes. Well, the terry nappies out. Kathleen used to bring she had two or three of them under 5, wasn't it? 3 of hers were under 5. She had 6 children at Kath.
Yes.
And 3 were under 5, and she brought them down from Garforth, where she lived.
Right.
And she used to get off at the Oakwood. And she used to give me a ring to say she was coming. And I'd go up to the Oakwood and wait for the bus. And then I'd have the 2 little ones that could walk, one in each hand all the way down. And there was love coming, and then she used to have nappies for 2 of them at the same time. And I used to say, "Well, go on, strip them off their nappies. Have you brought any with you?" She said, "Well, I have, as a matter of fact. I've taken what they've taken off this morning." I said, "Good. Go on, I'll get them done now." And I used to get them washed. And I used to have in the kitchen in Easterly Road, I had a rack.
Yes. You had an era, didn't you? I remember the era.
And I used to put her nappies on there, and they were all dry for her to go home with. Because I'd have to have none. Because we'd be making dinners or what every day. Oh, you are a sweet little lamb. You are. Oh, but I did want you to wakey for your daddy. I did want you to wake, or he'd say, "Grandma, send you to sleep." She said, "You can do what you like with me. I'm fast asleep." Didn't you? Wake again for Gamma. Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey. This makes them smile, you know, do you know?
Not when they're that little.
They do. It's surprising. After a while, they start to smile.
That's not a smile.
She said, I'm not going to smile. I'm shutting my mouth. Oh, you're gorgeous. You are, you little sweetheart. Though. Yes, you are. Licky, 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 love. Licky, 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 love.
I found I've adapted quite easily to having 2 kids.
Pardon?
I found I've adapted quite easily to having 2 kids.
Good.
Because when Coveney was born,
yeah, you never had any effort at you before. You never had any practice.
well, I've had the 2 older ones, Ben and George.
Oh yes, of course
But
you did.
when Coveney was around, anytime he cried, there was a parent there to take care of him straight away.
Yeah.
But this one, I can't just run to her straight away because I'm looking after Coveney and,
Oh yeah.
you know, we're trying to potty train Coveney. So she might have to lie on the sofa and cry for 5 minutes while I'm cleaning Coveney up or while I'm feeding him his dinner.
Yeah.
But she seems to be fitting in well with the family, if you see what I mean. Yesterday night, I fed Coveney some egg on toast. He loves his egg on toast.
Oh, does he?
But I always feed it to him.
Yeah.
And she was so good. She was asleep and then she woke up and she just gurgled to herself.
Oh, that's nice.
While I fed Coveney his egg on toast. And then as soon as I'd finished with the egg on toast, she started up and I had to give her... That was the start of the mammoth 8 ounces in 2 hours session.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But she was quite happy to wait downstairs while I put Coveney's nappy on and took him upstairs and brushed his teeth and put him to bed.
Nice. Yeah. Peter was a devil. Kathleen's husband. She used to say, "You have your sweets now, and then clean your teeth and get to bed." And when he used to go up to him, if one of them was awake, he used to produce a sweet and stick it in his mouth. I used to say, "I know what you've done, Peter." He said, "I know, but Kath doesn't realise what I've done." He said, "I don't tell her." He said, "Because it's my fault. I wake up when I go up to say good night."
Oh, I'll tell you what's the best thing for making her go to sleep is Coveney crying.
Oh, is it?
Because she's heard so much of Coveney crying over the last 9 months. It reassures her that everything's okay because she hears him crying.
Oh, well, I'd never heard him cry.
Oh no, whenever he doesn't get his own way.
Oh, I see.
And so he does. The number of times he's had a little tantrum when he's not been allowed to do what he wants.
Oh.
Right next to Anna, and Anna just hasn't stirred at all.
What more could you want? Look at that child. Perfect. She's lovely. She is lovely, bless her. You're going to get spoiled. You are. You're going to get spoiled. Your big brothers spoil you before long. Because they all spoiled out Kathleen. She had all her own way with the boys. She only had to say something and they did it. Tony was the worst. Tony did everything. If she just said, "Please, Tone," that was it. "Oh, I will, Kath."
How old was he then?
Well, let's see now. She was 3 years older than him. Bernard was 3 years older than Kathleen. Kathleen was 3 years older than
My dad. Tony.
Tony.
And then it was Uncle Paul was the youngest.
And then Paul was 5 years younger.
5 years younger than my dad.
Yeah, younger than your dad. Yeah.
Doesn't look it now.
I had 3 between the others. And yeah.
So she was older than my dad, but my dad had still run around for her.
Oh, yes, she had him round her little finger. She did. And she'd say, later on, when she had a date, you see, I used to make them do the little odd jobs, you know, around the house, wash up or do whatever. And they'd do it, and then in the turn, because I had the 4 of them, so I had to make them do it, because otherwise they'd squabble over it, you see. I made it into. She never had to raise her voice. All she said was, I'm tired, or I want to. It was usually wash her hair. How many times she washed her hair in a week, I don't know. But that's what she told Tony every time. That's all she said. I want to wash my hair. And he did it. He was very protective of Cat. Well, you see, she was the only girl among boys, wasn't she? And you're the only girl among boys, aren't you?
Joe is so relieved that she's got a girl in the house now.
Pardon?
Joe is so relieved that she has a girl in the house. Previously it was...
I wanted them exactly as they came. I said I wanted a boy, a girl, and then boys. I only wanted one girl, and I got her. I said I'm having 4 in a family. I don't like 3. So I got. We had 4, and I said no, that's it. I don't want any more. No, we didn't have any more. On those days we never used anything to stop anything. You know, we were dead lucky. Yeah, we were very, very lucky then. I was lucky. And I got 4 lovely children. Best. But Bernard, when he was small, he was like Ben. He was quiet. He'd sit in the corner and he'd read or draw or do something. Drawing he loved. He could draw beautiful. He used to draw all the Mickey Mouse characters, and he could really do them well, you know. If I ever come across it, I've got a photo he did of Cat, a drawing he did of Cat, and you can tell it's her. I can't know where I've put it with all the other papers, so I've got to go through a whole pile now, because they tell me I keep too many
keepsakes.
So I've got a letter Tony wrote to me when I was in hospital. I had pneumonia, and Doreen bought me that table there then, and he wrote to me and he said, Paul is doing the potatoes, P-T-O-E.
Potatoes?
Yes, potatoes. And when he's 5 years older than Paul, but I mean, Paul was only, he wasn't peeling them, he was chunking them up. Because eventually I had a peeler. I bought a potato peeler, you see. And now Paul loved turning the handle of that thing. And I looked one day and I put 4 potatoes in, 4 big ones. And when I looked, they were no bigger than marbles. He kept on turning the handle. I said, give over, you're not going to do it that way anymore. Oh, man, they did it on purpose, the little devils loved to see it go small.
Ooh, I could look for your the thingy that you need from Argos.
What about?
The thingy that'll make your TV picture work better. I wonder if Argos do it.
Oh, I never thought of that.
I'll check Argos.
Has Tesco any?
You know, it's possible that Tesco do them.
Tesco has a lot of things pertaining to this. They have something that's very, you know, one of your, not a table, not those tables they call them, not those laptops, but there are a lot of things like that in Tesco.
The tablets, the flat computer screens that you press. Yeah, they have those.
Yeah. I don't know what else they've got, but I know there are a lot of things pertaining to television and computers. Oh dear love. How you can sleep like that, I don't know. Your grandma's up at this 1:30 this morning.
You've got a visitor at the door.
All right.
You've got someone knocking. Shall I see who it is? Or
Yes,
do you want to tell me? You want me to tell them they're not in?
No, I'm in.
Hello. Window cleaner, Grandma.
Oh yes.
Have you left some money for him?
Pass
Is it here?
My purse is in there. Oh, there's not £2 on there. And my
Oh, hang on.
no.
Is it just £2? You got change, mate?
£2.50 it is.
No worries.
2.50s. I've got 50p, you see, that's why.
Yeah, every time I get the chance. Oh, yeah, I'll have a fiver.
I haven't been down to coffee morning, you see, love. That's why they get them.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Take care.
You too. Bye now.
Because I
didn't want you to be shouting out where your purse is with him at the door.
Pardon?
I didn't want you to be shouting out where you keep your purse with him at the
Well,
door.
I was going to say it's in there.
Can I've just paid him from my
Yes,
wallet,
yes.
so I'll just take the £2. He says it's
There should
£2.50
be-
now.
There should be half crowns, I call them. I always call them half crowns.
Which section is it in?
Any the zippers,
Right.
the things are in the back, the notes are in the back.
Have you got any pennies?
Oh, I kept some pennies because of these things they always give me.
Oh, you've not got any pennies. We've got our own penny bucket at home now.
Well, where have I put them? I put
There we
them
go, that's
somewhere.
£2.50 I've taken out.
All right, that's right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, love. Because your dad always brought me the half crowns, as they call them, and I used to use 3 every time we played bingo, because I did 3 cards, and
Right.
each was 50p a card. And I used to leave them in that box on the windowsill. I got a little box outside on the windowsill there,
Mm.
and it's, I think it's one you gave me. You gave me a wooden box.
I don't know. Let me see.
Just the other side,
Oh, I see.
there.
No, that wasn't. Oh, I've not seen that. No, it wasn't me that gave you that. So that's where you're putting your 50p's.
That's what I.
You know, you've got a bunch of 50p's in your purse.
Oh, I know. That's what I say.
That's a nice box, is that?
I keep those 50p's on me because the other box is full of have a look, of 5p's for dominoes.
Oh, here's one here.
That's the one you gave me, is it?
That box looks familiar, but it would have been a long time ago.
I know, it was a long time
But
ago.
that's a nice box.
There's loads of 50p's
There's
in
lots
there.
of 5 pences in there.
5 pences, I mean. Yeah. And you see, your dad always knows, and he puts a couple of pounds in there, and 4 or 5 half crowns. I mean 50p's. Well, and I said to him now, I said, I don't need as many now, Joan, because when I win more at bingo than I've been winning, so I often get them in winnings. Oh, you are so sweet, I can't get over you. I shouldn't let her sleep, should I?
No,
like this?
she's fine. When they're this small, they're only supposed to be awake 10 minutes a day.
Are they?
Oh, they're supposed to sleep all the time when they're teeny tiny.
Well, our little one, our Kathy, when she would have been about 3, she'd sleep all day. Mind, I'll say this. Her mother used to be like that. Grandma used to be like that. She used to fall in asleep in the chair. Now you can sit up over my shoulder again. Come on, sweetheart. Come on. I've got to put my hand on your bottom because you're too heavy to lift. That's better, lovely. There. She said, I don't want to. Oh, that's not fair. No, she said I was so comfortable the other way. She better now, she's settling again now.
Oh, of course. She could be hung upside down like a bat and she'd still sleep, I think.
It's a good picture, isn't it, Andrew?
Yes.
A plain picture.
Yes, this is the one they're turning off. The picture that you'll be left with isn't quite as good.
Won't be quite as good.
No, I don't think it is.
Oh.
This is the old picture, the one that you've been watching for the last 50 years.
Oh, yes.
The new digital picture I don't think is quite
see.
as good.
Somebody said that before. Somebody said about the digital, it won't be as... But the digital I get when I turn over to the numbers on there,
Yes.
you know, they're quite all right,
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
are they? But I know, because it tells you the name, it tells you not, I've got her head.
No, she's fine. Oh, she's woken up.
Eh?
She opened her eyes. Oh, she's gone back to sleep again. She must be very comfortable.
Oh, no. That's better. There you are. Now you know where you are. Now you can open your eyes and have a look round. Now you can look round.
Don't be silly, Grandma. I was just checking to make sure you were still there. I'm going back to sleep.
Oh, you lovely kitty. Oh, you're gorgeous. said, "Oh, don't like this." She said, "You're not cuddling me like you did."
Look at that
Oh.
face. Straight back to sleep.
Straight away, love. Nobody at all. Yes, and he's looking at me, have you noticed? Her eyes are turned this way. So you can detect sound. You can, darling.
They've already tested her hearing.
Yes.
I don't know how they do it, but they test babies just after they're born, and
They
they're
do,
fine.
yes. And when there's anything wrong with my ears, you know, when I had to go for the hearing aid, they said, before you come down, get your ears fringed, and I did. And I went down, and he said, yes, you definitely need a hearing aid. And he fixed it for me so that it wasn't too loud. And then it's eventually it got a thing. And I went down and had it altered. Now I want to go down and get a new one, because that's good. Even when I put the new batteries in.
I'm surprised you can do it. They're so tiny, those batteries.
Yes, they're marvellous that they can do. And I never had to go for batteries.
Oh, they give you the batteries, don't they?
Yes, but they said if you send down, you don't have to come down for them. Because you see, they got to pay transport for me going down. Because I can't go on the ordinary bus. So they said, let us know. And I got two little bags. Where did I put them? In the top drawer, I think. There. They're two little black purses with the not zips, that's catch, you know, that stuff. And they sent me full of batteries. They're in circles when they come.
Yes.
And have you seen them?
Ali has a hearing aid, so yes, I've seen them.
And I've got to take that pink thing off and put them in right. It's pink paper. I've got you, lovely, go on, stretch. They won't hurt you to stretch. It's good for you. Yes, nice is that? Ooh, she said, yes, look at that. All her body is stretched then. Oh, darling, 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 yes, it's not fair. They're cruel to you, they are. Are they cruel to my baby? Yes. Well, don't go back to sleep. Talk to us. Go and talk to us nice now. That's right. There we are. Oh, that's a big yawn. That was a big, big yawn, wasn't it, darling? It was. Yes, it was a big, big yawn, was that? Yes, 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 yes. Let's put you right. Like that. There we are. Now then. She had a look round and she's not satisfied. She said, I'll go back. So I'll give you a £20 note, Andrew.
No, no, no.
And you can get, whenever you pass in anywhere, have a look, you know.
I think it'll cost about a tenner.
Yeah.
But as I say,
Well,
this place that I want to buy it from won't have it for a month. A month is okay,
yeah.
because this won't be turned off for another 6 months.
No, not till September, is it?
But I'll have a look around, because I think Ali could do with one as well.
Yeah. What is it we need?
It's called the Signal Booster.
That's right. Our Paul said something about signal. He said, Andrew will get a signal of something. And I'll be able to read it, will I?
You won't need to read it. I'll just plug it in.
Oh, I see, and it'll work.
Yeah, I'll plug it in, and then your channels will work properly.
Oh, that's great. That's better for old people who can't remember. Hmm. Look at this child. Look,
Straight back to sleep.
straight out.
It's nice to see her legs out,
Yes,
because
it
she
stretches them.
tucks them up. She tucks them up half the time, like they were when she was in the womb.
Oh, yes.
So it's nice
Well,
to
that's
see
how
her
I
stretching
sleep
out.
at night, you know. I still sleep like that. I'm in a roll when I wake up in the morning. My knees are up to my chin nearly. Mm. But you see, I go to bed, and I will not go till after 11 o'clock.
Hmm.
And so last night? Last night I thought, oh, it's only 10:30, but I'm going to bed. I feel tired. I went to bed, and I thought, well, can I go to sleep? And the next minute I must have been asleep. And the very next minute I woke again. I said, I'm wide awake, 1:10. So I got up then. As soon as I realised I can't sleep, I get up.
Yes. So have you been awake since 1:10?
Hey?
Have you been awake since 1:10 this
Yeah.
morning? Wow.
I haven't dozed because I couldn't get a bath this morning because it was coffee morning and I didn't have time to have a shower. So I'll have a shower before I go for tea time this evening, because I'll wash my hair, because she comes to do my hair in the morning.
Right.
She's here at 7.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Wow.
She said, can I come early? I said, 5. 5. She said, I don't want to come at 5. She said, I'll come as early as you like. I said, well, come at 7 if you want. She said, oh yes. She said, that'd be great because I can get another early thing in. Then I'll get one about 8 o'clock. So I said, yes, you can. I said, as far as I'm concerned, I'm awake anyway. So she comes at that time, and her father comes with her to carry up paraphernalia, you know. And I always have the kettle boiling and a couple of cups out there, and I said, go on, make your own coffee. So he does.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a rainy day today.
It said it was, didn't it? And it showed this morning patches of it. And then they said by this afternoon it's going to the east coast. It's on the west at the moment, or on Wales. And look at this, she's got her legs right out, Daddy. She's a big girl. Oh, she said, I heard you. She said, I heard you, Grandma. I did. You're a lovely little love. How can they hurt babies, Andrew?
I don't know.
Oh, when you see how they've starved that kid, they starved one, didn't they?
I don't
Poor
know.
little thing, they starved her to death. And another one, they made her eat salt until it killed her. Oh, they do some terrible things. Then they burn cigarette ends on them. Oh, dear. Imagine babies standing that for, Andrew. Well, you can't imagine it, can you? No. She keeps having a look round, you know. She said, oh, I'm having a look round when I want you, Grandma. Not because you told me to. See how she looks? I think you're going to be just as good as your big brother. That's Covey. You are. And you're going to be just as spoiled by Covey. You will. Isn't it surprising how big brother spoils his sister?
Well, I never had a sister to spoil,
No,
so I'll
you
just have to
of course you
see.
didn't. Well, my brother was only a year older than me, and I thought the world of him, and he thought of me.
But weren't you mostly girls?
Eh?
Didn't you have more sisters than brothers?
No, I had four brothers and 3 sisters, so there was 4. We were 8 in our family. And can you imagine my mother on the bath night, because you only bath once a week,
Yes.
you see. Well, my dad used to bath every day because him being a minor, and we had to go then into the middle room when we were kids. well, they call it the lounge now. We used to go in the middle room and we used to sit in there until my dad had bath, because he used to bath in front of the fire.
Yes.
And the kitchen was a lot bigger than this room, because it was an old-fashioned farmhouse, you see.
Yes.
Because my gran lived next door in the farm, and we lived in the farmhouse cottage. And the cottage was nearly as big as the farmhouse, because there were big rooms. There was a big dairy at the back. There was a big middle room where we all sat while my dad bathed. And then there was a big, huge kitchen. And it's a kitchen diner, because we had a big, long table there where 8 of us could sit round, you know. And she used to sit us on this wooden table when we were bath night, and she used to have the 3 little ones have the bath first. Luckily, we had a boiler beside the fire. It was a huge grate. The fireplace would be as wide as wider than that television. The chimney was as wide as that, all the way up. And you could look up and see the sky. Do you know how they swept the chimney? With holly branches. The sweep was no good, because it was
too big.
Yeah. You see what she did? She had a little wave and then she relaxed. She said I was comfy, so I went back. If you did ask me to lift her with my other arm, I couldn't have. This arm. Oh, she's gorgeous. Don't you ever smack her for being naughty,
No.
dear. Or I'll come and hit you.
Well, Coveney's got a new word in his vocabulary, or a new phrase in his vocabulary
And
since
what's
she
that?
was born. Daddy's cross.
Daddy's what?
Daddy's cross.
Cross?
Yes. He's
Oh.
been playing up a little bit.
Oh, I see.
And I've been a little bit more short of patience.
Well, you mustn't, because you'll get envious of the baby.
Well, I don't shout at him, but I say to him, look, if you don't do as you're told, I will get cross. Do you want me to get cross?
Oh, I see, yes.
And he goes, no, and he behaves. And if he still misbehaves, then I go and I make him do it, and I say, look, I've told you to do this. Daddy's cross now.
Yeah.
And so he goes, Daddy's cross. He goes to his mum, Daddy's cross.
Yeah. But whatever you do, don't make him envious of the baby.
Oh, no. I do just little things like this morning when I went to nursery. I took the baby to nursery.
Yeah.
I took her to nursery in her car seat. She was asleep, and I put her down.
Yeah.
And I walked away from her with Coveney.
Yeah.
So that, you know, he gets to see that
Oh, yes.
he's
that's
having
it.
time with his dad,
That's
where
right,
he's walking
yes.
away from the baby.
Mm.
So there were women gathered around the car seat cooing
Oh,
at her,
everybody coos at new babies, don't they?
while I was playing with Coveney.
Well, she's on my knees. She's kept her legs down. Daddy. She's kept her legs down. She'll grow. But you want to be tall, love. Don't grow short. Grow tall like your mummy, because you can get close to fit you if you're tall. And if you're short, you can't. It's awful, isn't it? I've got to look in the children's things for cardigans and blouses. Because a 14 is too big. A 12 is just, 12 fit me across the shoulders, but down around the bottom end it isn't quite as wide as I need it. But, because I couldn't believe it when I wore the 14-inch trousers. I used to wear 16s, and then all of a sudden I started shrinking. But now that I'm sitting a lot, I get up and do exercises. And now that they've finished carpeting, I can walk to down to the library and back downstairs, you see. So that's 2 long corridors. then another 2 to get through the big room into the library.
Mhm.
So I get that exercise about twice a day. I go down there on purpose just to walk. And when it is dry and no rain, I can walk round the garden outside.
Mhm.
But I won't go on a bus while your dad and mum are away.
Mm.
Because I said I wouldn't fall. I won't fall while they're away. She said, now don't, whatever you do, Mum, she said, I don't want any of this falling about when I'm away again. She said, you gave us such a shock last time.
Well, you do right.
Eh?
You do right.
So I said, yeah, I won't. I'll be very careful. Wait a minute. Sounded as if you would win then.
Oh no, she snorts quite a bit. She sounds like a little
Is
pig.
it? Oh, is that what it was? Snorting. I thought she'd wind. She said, don't take me up when I'm breast sleeping. She's fabulous. Your Ben reminds me of Bernard, and she reminds me of Cassie. Because she was lovely pale skin like hers. Because in the hospital, you see, they said in the morning, she kept all the babies awake last night. I said, did she? She said, yes. So I said, oh, I'm sorry. She said, no, we're only kidding you. She said, I took her to play school. Oh, it was funny. I used to take her to, you know where, forget the name of it now, down on the way to town, a big Catholic church, St. Patrick's. Well, I used to take her there, you know, to go there, and they used to have a little school at the other end, nursery school, and she said, well, do you think she'll be all right? She said, because we've little beds if they're tired. I said, oh yes. Took her there, and they gave her some dinner. And I went to fetch her at night, and they had to wake her up. She was still in bed past this. I said, did she have any trouble? She said, we don't know. She slept all the time. Oh dear. This one keeps waking her, open her eyes and have a look round. Don't frown, little one. You're too little to frown. Hello, Anna. Oh, that's a smile to see it, Andrew.
No, I missed it.
No? It's a lovely smile, isn't it? Hello, Anna. Hello, Anna. Give us another one. Give us another smile. Anna. 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 She said, I was comfortable, Grandma. I don't want you to wake me. She won't wake, will she? That stool is a big help, because I can put my foot on and rest her head on my knee, you see. Because you're no lightweight, are you, sweetheart? You're no lightweight? No, you're not. You're no lightweight, see, come on. No. No. See that, Andrew? A lovely little smile. Come on, give me another. Your daddy hasn't seen you ever give me a smile yet. Come on, open your eyes, that's better. It'll be better when your eyes are open. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes. I got chalks for the kids now. Coloured chalks instead of those. they used my bingo pens, and I had to scrub their hands before they could go home. Every one of them
No.
had had them.
Chalk is a good idea because you can hoover it up.
Yeah. Yes, because Kathleen, we just papered in Easterly Road, and she found was it a crayon? I think it was a crayon she found, a right thick, greasy one, and drew a great big baby on the wall. I'd just finished papering,
How old would she have been then?
Oh, she'd be about 5, I think. And she did a great big, a head and a body and sticks for legs and arms. She drew that, and I never noticed until it was finished. She drew a right big one. And I thought, oh my God, I've just papered, or rather Bernard had just papered there. And it was expensive paper. And so I thought, well, see if we got enough left for another roll, for another bit. And luckily we did. But half of it would have stuck out under the curtain at the side. When you drew the curtain, it would have shown. A right big, beautiful. She would pick the big one, wouldn't she? Yeah. And then she'd put a cup on the table, in the middle of the table, and turn round and hit it off, right onto the floor.
What was this?
Oh, Kathleen. And Paul used to balance his cup on the edge, and it stayed. And even as they grow older, she used to say, why do I do that, Mum? She said, oh, Paul can balance it near the edge. I said, because you are too quick. I said, as soon as you put it down, you turn round quick and fling your arm out and knock it over. And I do the same now. I've got 2 big floor cloths I keep as dishcloths, because I'm always spilling something on the tops in there, Oh, come on, Lou. Oh dear. Oh dear. That was wind, wasn't it, darling? I think that was it. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Oh, it's disgusting, isn't it? You've got to move. It is. The thing is, when you stop whichever position you're in, you close your eyes and sleep. But baby. Oh, I will call him baby. Where's Kobe? Is he in play school?
He's in nursery today.
Oh, what time does he stay there till?
Till about 4 o'clock.
Oh, does he? Oh, that's good, isn't it? A nice day.
He never wants to go these days. He always used to love going to nursery when he went every day.
Yeah.
But now he's at home with his mum 4 days out of the 5 working days. He doesn't want to go, but then once he's there, he has a great time, and then he doesn't want to leave.
No, that's it. Ian, he's the only one I took to play school. And he used to say, Grandma, are you staying? I'd say, I'll have a look on the list if I wasn't staying. And he'd say, okay, and carry on with what he was doing, and I used to just walk away. And they never heard a sound out of him. Hello? And then when I used to take him to school, I used to take him, when we lived in Easterly Road, we caught the bus to Seacroft, and they dropped him off at his school there. And every time we came home, we walked past the shop to the bus stop, just past it, we used to cross the road, and we waited for the bus there to go home, to come to Easterly Road. And he used to say, are we going to have one then, Grandma? I said, well, I don't think you'd ride on the bus without talking if I didn't get you one. So he said, no, I'll have one, please. I used to get him those square things on a stick like lollipops.
Oh, drumsticks.
That's it. I used to call for his drumstick. Every night I had to get him a drumstick. I got him one, and I didn't get him two because I had to call the following night. I had to call in the shop with him and get him one. And every night he got his drumstick to go home with. Yeah. Oh, that's snoring. I wondered what that was. Well, whatever it is, nothing wrong with you, kiddo. There isn't, thank God. How old is Jo?
Jo's 34.
Oh, she's all right.
Is she
She's
34
all right.
or 35?
She's all right because it's when they're over 40.
Yes.
I said to our cat, she got mad with me. I said she died at 43, and she'd had the two, and there was only a couple of years, less than 2 years between the two little ones, and there were 13 years between Sarah and Mary, and I thought, oh, poor old cat. She had no time for a retirement, because she had to, and they were spoiled. Sarah called them the brats. She always called them the brats. She used to say, the brats. She used to say, well, I hope those brats will be in bed. Poor little things.
I think it's better to spoil a child than to be too strict.
Oh, yes. Oh, so do I. I'd hate to be cruel. And Michael, I told you Michael hid all her clothes under the bed. And, oh, but he was good after that, if I told him to do something. But the only thing would get him to eat veg, and only a carrot, that was your Adrian.
Yes.
He used to say, you're not having the television on while you eat your dinner, if you don't eat that. And he'd carry on eating, and he'd say, you can't have it, you can't have the telly on. And he said, well, I'm not going to eat it. He said, all right, I don't want to watch it. I'll turn it off. Oh, that did it. He ate his carrot. And then when he went home, he said, she said, you eat carrots up in Grandma's, didn't you? She should have kept it up then, because he said, yes, but I won't eat them for you. You see, but they were spoiled, I'm not kidding. They were spoiled. Well, we didn't realize that, but she had the cancer, you see. Because your mum came down and she said, when she rung first, Kathy rung first, she said, I was a bit bothered, Mum, because I had a bit of a lump, she said, and they said, no, I'm okay. Anyway, a fortnight later, your mum came down and she said, sit down, Mum, I'll make a cup of tea. I said, you don't make tea in my kitchen, I'll make it for you. She said, no, I've got something to tell you, so sit down. So I did, and I'd never even given it a thought, because only the week before, Kath had said she was okay. And she said, I'm sorry, Mum. She said, but Kathleen's got cancer. She said, and I've got to tell you, she said, she made me tell you, she's only got 3 months to live. And I said, oh my God, I said, it's only last week she rang and said me she was okay. But evidently they'd got her mixed up with another person, you see. They did, wherever they do, they get mixed up, don't they? I thought it was only Leeds, St. James's, but no, it was their place. Anyway, she made me have a cup of tea and sit down. She's been like a daughter to me, as your mum, though. She really has. Because she does my bedding, you see. She only does my bedding, because I do my towels and my undies and everything else in here. I'll do them, and she does the bedding. Because I can't fix that flaming sheet on. It's elasticated, that fits tight, and I can't do it, because I haven't got enough strength to pull it down with my hands over the corners. So she said, leave it, I'll do it. So she does that, and my duvet and things. She does that. I didn't want her to, but she said, yes, well, she said, you'd never have a good night's sleep, would you? I said, she said, because you can't straighten that bottom sheet, you can't tuck it on. I said, no. But it didn't stop me not having sleeping. I fell out of bed one night, rolled right out. Because it's so tight, you see, is the mattress, you know. And I turned over to get comfortable, and I ended up on the floor. Luckily, I landed arm first. You know, I fell and I felt myself falling and shoved my hands out. But it's a lovely, comfy bed.
I think that's what she thinks as well.
Eh?
That's what she thinks of your lap. It's
Really?
a lovely, comfy bed.
Well, I've tried to wake her. Don't say I didn't, because I did, didn't I?
She had 10 minutes awake. Hopefully she'll wake up at some point this afternoon,
Yes.
so she's not awake all night.
Yes.
But she likes to be awake in the evening. She was awake until about 9 o'clock last night.
Oh, well, you
9 or
don't
10
mind
o'clock.
if she sleeps all night, do you?
No, that's right. Although that's the time that Joe and myself
Oh,
have
yes, of
together
course.
once Coveney's
Of
in
course
bed, and then she wakes up.
Of course, that's the thing. You'll have to practice putting her to bed when Kobe goes.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm going to let her get a couple of weeks older first.
I was going to say, when she gets older, you would say, you must go to bed, because Kobe's a good boy, he's gone to bed. And he'll say to her, it's bedtime, and she'll listen to him then, you see.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's ideal to have the two young ones, you know, little enough to understand each other.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure when she gets to 9 months old and she's starting to make noises, Coveney will know what she's saying long before we will.
Of course he will.
It was the same with George and Ben.
Yeah. They talk to each other like gobbledygoof, didn't it? Mind, when I used to talk to Flora like that, when she got a bit funny, she, you know, I could talk to Flora any way at all, and she understood. Bless her. And every single day we went out, Andrew, because they said to me now, she said, you miss your walks. I said, I'm going to walk again. I said, when they're all back home, when the boys are home, I said, I'll go for walks again, because I can. I can catch a bus at the bottom, you see. And I don't mind. It's coming back up that hill. So what I do now, I come back on the little wobbly, the bendy bus.
Yes.
And I get off there, and then I wait till the 56 is in, and I can go on it 3 stops, and it doesn't get you up this hill. It brings you.
And it just drops you outside here, doesn't it?
No, well, it drops you. Yes, a bit further back. It's about 5 minutes walk to get to there, and then I can walk to the little side alley and come in out at the bottom. The only thing is, that's where I got mugged, coming down that little alley. But they must have seen me every Monday night, you see. Was to go to bingo in Bradford, of all places. It was our Sunday bus. And in the winter, it used to take to the seaside. In the winter, they took us to bingo. And they were a really nice crowd. There's only one downstairs now that goes on it, and she always gives me the remarks. They always ask how I am. And they came to see me in hospital, and they brought me flowers. They were great. And they want to know when I'm going back again. I said, oh, I won't. I won't. I said, I'm too much of a nuisance now. She said, you can't be a nuisance. I said, well, I'd want watching. I said, I'd want to see whether there's steps or whether there's a curb, deep curb. And she said, well, you know very well we do this for there's 3 or 4 of them there. And these older ones, the younger ones, take over and they act as aides, you know. They're very, very good. That Sunday bus was fabulous. And we used to take it in turns. About every 30 Sundays, it was my turn to buy sweets. I'd buy a pound. And then they did it. So this particular Thursday, they came a bit early. And I was sitting downstairs, and I jumped up, went to the bus, and left my sweets. When I come back, somebody started them. And I thought, I don't want them, I don't know for Dirty John, as I call him. Dirty Dick has been having, said I wouldn't touch him. I left them there for them all to eat. Yeah. But he's in hospital at the moment, thank God. Did you know he was a filthy man?
Yes, you have mentioned it.
Well, Jan has not been able to sleep for him because he won't have a carpet and he'll be walking about on the boards every time. And he drank a lot and, you know, used to go for drinks. And he used to go back to the toilet every few minutes during the night, you know, and wake her up because he was heavy on his feet because he was drunk. And he was on no carpet. So she got no sleep. Anyway, she said, I hope. I said, well, I hope when they get hold of him, they'll bat him before they put him in the bed. She said, they'll have to do, won't they? I said, yeah. Because he's filthy. You never see him washed. And you never see him, he used to do it in his trousers and bits on our chairs downstairs. We used to wash him Jan and I took it in turns to wash the seats downstairs and the arms of the chairs. And he used to play bingo and we used to wash all the cards and we nearly rubbed the numbers off. And but he's out of the way now. I banned him. I said to him, you mustn't come down to bingo anymore, I said, because we've got to wash the chairs after you, John. He said, well, I said, well, that's all. We're not coming down to bingo anymore. So he said, all right, because they give me to do because I'm the oldest. And he said, all right, I won't come down to bingo. So he didn't.
Yeah.
But every time we go in the kitchen, everybody will wash the cup out before they use it. Because he goes and helps himself to whatever's there. And I used to take a bottle of lemonade down regularly so that we'd have a drink during bingo. But I stopped taking it because somebody used to drink half of it and I wouldn't touch that flaming bottle if he'd used it. So we got a big cupboard and we locked everything up for hours. We used to get everything pinched. And Maeve said to me, she said, we're not allowed to have rugs outside, mats outside the doors, are we? I said, well, they've warned us with the new carpet that it'll slide easy on that because it's new, you know. I said, well, I've stopped having one for a long time because if I catch my stick in, I can go flying. I said, and they're all elderly. And she said, well, they've banned them now with the carpet, but I see some of the men have put mats down. But if they slip, it's their fault, you see.
Yes.
You can't claim anything if they fall on those mats because they've been told not to put them down. That's twice we were warned that. Years ago we were told never to wear them. And we all put mats down. And then we all get fed up of it. And we stopped putting them down. And they give them the same order again. We mustn't use mats because we'll fall over them. Which of course we could. Look at this child. I can't understand you, love. I think I've got Kathleen back. I do. Isn't she fabulous?
Well,